Hey guys, the Zergling is super good S tier. The reason is Stalkers do bonus damage against armored units, but the Zergling is not armored. Also, the Zergling is super fast. It's easy for Lings to surround the Stalkers. Even if the Stalker blinks away, it just takes a couple of seconds for the Lings to catch up to them, surround them again and destroy them. It's an S tier. Next we have the Baneling. This is a pretty weak one, so okay, it's a splash damage unit, and splash damage has some use against the Stalker. The Stalkers tend to clump up, but the Baneling deals bonus damage against light units, which the Stalker is not. The Stalker is an armored unit. So the damage is low, and I think it takes about 10 Banelings to kill one Stalker. That's super inefficient. It's a C tier. And the Roach, I would say, is pretty good. I would put it into A tier. The reason is just the Roach has much more HP for the price. So for the price of one Stalker, you get almost 2 Roaches, and 2 Roaches have a total HP of 290, and one Stalker just has 160 HP. But then on the other hand, the Stalker has bonus damage against armored units, and the Roach is armored, and the Stalker also outranges. Stalkers have range 6, Roaches have range 4, but still, just because the Roach has such a big HP advantage, the Roach usually wins against the Stalker on equal cost. And next we have the Queen. This is, I would say, a pretty mediocre one. It's not strong, but also not terrible. So the Queen number 1 is not armored. It doesn't take bonus damage from the Stalker. That's good. And also a couple of Queens can heal themselves with transfuse, so this means that the Queen is really hard to kill for the Stalker, but the Queen also has a very low damage output against ground units like the Stalker, so it's good at surviving against the Stalker, but it's weak at killing the Stalker, so I would say B tier. And next we have the Ravager. This is also a pretty mixed one. I think I would also say B tier. So the Ravager also is not armored. It doesn't take bonus damage from the Stalker. That's good, of course. But then on the other hand, the Ravager has pretty low HP. It has just 120 HP, and the probability of hitting a Stalker with a corrosive bile is close to 0 because the Stalker is pretty fast and the Stalker can blink. But still, the DPS of the Ravager is higher than the DPS of the Stalker because the Ravager attacks faster, and also both units have the same range, so you see it is a very mixed thing between the two. I would say B tier. And then we have the subscribe button, so please give me your subscribe, I need it, thank you. And next we have the Hydralisk. I would say the Hydralisk is an A tier counter against the Stalker. The main reason is the Hydralisk is also not armored, so it doesn't take bonus damage from the Stalker. And the Hydralisk's damage output is very strong. It kills the Stalker very quickly. And the 2 units have the same range, so the Stalker cannot kite the Hydra. The reason why it's not an S tier is because the Hydra still has very low HP, and they still die pretty quickly, even against a low DPS unit like the Stalker, but they are strong, they are an A tier. Next we have the Ultralisk. I would say this is a weak one. So number 1, the Ultralisk is light, so it doesn't take bonus damage from the Stalker. This is a small advantage for the Muta, but still, for the price, the Muta has very little HP and also very little damage output, and it has a much shorter range than the Stalker. Muta has range 3, Stalkers have range 6, so in a direct fight, even though it is a light unit, the Ultralisk loses against the Stalker, but it's not a super hard loss, so I would say it's weak. It's not terribly, but it's weak. And next we have the Corruptor. That's a D tier, of course, doesn't have any anti-ground attack. And then we have the Infestor. That's an interesting one, but I wouldn't say that it is strong against Stalkers. So number 1, fungal growth is okay. It slows down the Stalkers, and the Stalker can't use blink while they're under fungal growth. So this has some use. The neural parasite, I would say, is close to useless because the Stalker is still a pretty low value unit, not efficient to take over a Stalker with a parasite. And the Shroud has some use because Shroud reduces all incoming range damage by 50%, and the Stalker, of course, has a ranged attack. So I would say it's somewhere between B and C. I think I would put it as C tier. It's not useless, but weak. And also the infestor is armored, so it takes bonus damage from the stalker, okay? And next we have the lurker, and I think the lurker is actually an S tier for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a splash damage unit, and you know the stalker tends to clump up, splash damage very strong. Number two, the lurker has bonus damage against armored units. It deals 20 damage plus 10 to armored, and the stalker is an armored unit. That's also strong. And the lurker always outranges the stalker. So stalkers have a range of 6, and the lurker has a range of 8 upgradable to 10. So there's really a lot of advantages for the lurker. The only thing that it's bad for the lurker is that it is an armored unit, so it still takes bonus damage from stalkers, but I think because the lurker's attack is so good, I think it's an S tier against the stalker. And next we have this guy here, the overseer. This useless, we don't need him against stalkers. The swarm host, I would say, is also close to useless. I mean, the swarm host is generally weak against units because every unit can just run away until the locusts expire. And this is especially true for a unit that is fast and has a blink ability like the stalker. So it's useless against the stalker. And next we have the broodlord. This is also close to useless because the thing about the broodlord is, number one, it comes into the game very late. You can make the stalker just much earlier and much easier. Number two, it is a very low HP and very low damage output unit. It has a good range though. And usually one advantage of the broodlord is that the small broodlings block enemy ground unit movement. Okay, so the enemy units get stuck on the broodling, but this doesn't work against the stalker because the stalker always can just blink forward under the broodlord and quickly destroy the broodlord. Also, the broodlord is armored, so it takes bonus damage from the stalker, but I think the stalker's blink ability is the main reason. It just can jump over the broodlings and destroy the broodlord. So I think it's a D tier. And next we have the Ultralisk. This is very strong. I think it's somewhere between S and A tier. I would probably put it into A tier because the Ultralisk, it has splash damage. That's very strong against stalkers. It is super tanky. It has 500 HP and it has 7 armor. And a fully upgraded stalker deals 24 damage. So I mean, 7 armor is not terribly strong against that, but it has a strong damage reducing effect. So the Ultra is just very hard to kill, and it has a very good attack against the Stalker. But then on the other hand, the Stalker also has bonus damage against armored units, and the Ultra is armored, and the Stalker can somewhat micro against the Ultralisk. I mean, blink micro, always blinking away when the Ultra approaches. So it is not a hard counter, but I think it is very strong against the Stalker, A tier. And next we have this one here, the Viper. This is useless because essentially all the spells are useless. Yoink should only be used against high value targets, not against stalkers. Blinding Cloud is useless because it's very easy for the stalker to blink out of the blinding cloud. And the third spell, Parasitic Bomb, only works against air targets. And then we have the Spinecrawler. This is a okay target. I mean, the stats of the Spinecrawler are pretty nice. It deals bonus damage to armored units like the Stalker, and it is pretty tanky. But then on the other hand, it is also armored like all buildings in the game, and the Stalker deals bonus damage to armored units. And the Spinecrawler also is static, and because the Stalker is so mobile, it is fast and it has blink, oftentimes it is just easy for the Stalker to dodge a static defense. So I feel the stats are good, but the mobility is bad, B tier. And then we have the this thing here, this is a D tier. Alright dudes, see you next time.